What's up? What's up? I think we're gonna start today's pod off a little bit different. Oh, I need to focus. Why isn't it focusing? Oh, this isn't gonna be good. We good? Nope. It's gonna go up and then it's gonna go to the middle. Okay. Cool. We're just off. So, how I read the Bible, I usually read it, depending on like what verse I land on randomly. So that's what we're gonna do. I always just kind of just flip and then I turn. So it looks like we got Proverbs. We're gonna read Proverbs 6. So better a poor man who walks in his integrity than he who is crooked in his ways and rich. Okay, so I know I have a bookmark in here, so we're gonna go ahead and bookmark Proverbs 6 because that one, it's interesting that I swear I thought I had a bookmark in here. Maybe it's just, maybe it's on like complete other side. It's on the complete side. Anyways, Proverbs 6. Yeah. Okay, we're actually gonna restart because there's a lot going on here. So. All right, so today we're going to start off the podcast a little bit differently. We're actually going to read from 1 John chapter 3, and we're going to read verse 4, because I flipped to the page randomly right before we started the podcast, and I really wanted to, that's usually how I read the Bible anyway. I do it kind of randomly. So, avoiding sin. Everyone who commits sin commits lawlessness. For sin is lawlessness. And we're going to keep going here. We're just going to finish out the chapter. You know that he was revealed to take away sins, and in him there is no sin. No one who remains in him sins. No one who sins has seen him or known him. Children, let no one deceive you. The person who acts in righteousness is righteous, just as he is righteous. Whoever sins belongs to the devil, because the devil has sinned from the beginning. Indeed, the Son of God was revealed to destroy the works of the devil. No one who is begotten by God commits sin, because God's seed remains in him. He cannot sin because he is begotten by God. In this way, the children of God and the children of the devil are made plain. No one who fails to act in righteousness belongs to God, nor anyone who does not love his brother. Wow. Okay, so that is quite the Bible verse to start off. Sin. What is sin? You know, I think that's kind of the topic of that reading. And sin is lawlessness. And, you know, I always viewed sin as, you know, separate anything that separates you from God. But it's interesting. It's like anyone who's in God just does not commit sin. And that's kind of like what that verse kind of talks about. And it's a big one to ponder because you're like, what do you mean there's no sin? I don't really know. You know, the way that I interpret that is like, obviously intention. You know, like if you kind of carry yourself in the way of the Lord, and you more so live in that way, and you are in God, then perhaps you don't sin. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it's saying. It's like, as a person who follows the faith, of who follows Jesus, who follows God, you know, you don't sin, because the people that do sin, they belong to the devil. And I think it's more so, instead of just a plain statement of like there is no sin, I don't think that's true. I think it's just kind of, it's there as a reminder of like, hey, remember, on, you know, if you're gonna say, if you're gonna be about it, if you're gonna be a Christian and you're gonna follow God and you're gonna follow Jesus, like, hey, we don't sin. And, you know, you have to kind of look at it from that lens, in my perspective, where it's like, in this way, it's like it's kind of it's holding you accountable. It's like he, you know, who lives, I think it lives in righteousness, and I think it was, what is it, 1 John? Oh boy, I should have kept that. Should have marked it. Crap. That's kind of like the problem I have. So that's how I read the Bible. So like sometimes I just flip to a random page, but I think I found it here. Yeah. So it says, no one who is begotten by God commits sin, because God's seed remain in him. He cannot sin. He cannot sin because he is begotten by God. In this way, the children of God and the children of the devil are made plain. No one who falls to act in righteousness, no one who fails to act in righteousness belong to God. Now that begs the question, like, what is righteousness? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is the definition of righteousness, right? Oh, no. 1 second. Pause. Intermission. My phone is connected via Wi-Fi to my camera, so I can make sure I'm still in focus. So I had to grab my laptop here. So righteousness definition: the quality of being morally right or justifiable. Oof. So anyone who fails in righteousness sins. In this way, children of God and children of the devil are made plain. No one who fails to act in righteousness belongs to God, nor anyone who does not love his brother. Yeah, it's a doozy. I think there's a lot to break down there, and I kind of want to shift gears a little bit, but I don't know. I might start doing that. I might start the podcast off like that. So I have a couple things to discuss. Patience is one of them for sure. Patience. I have my little Kindle here, and I'm reading a business book up here. It's pretty sweet. It's called Start, Scale, Exit, I think is the name of it. I really like Kindles. I haven't been really using it, or Start, Scale, Exit, Repeat. That's the name of it. I haven't been using it as much just because I've been very busy, honestly. And it's been difficult to find a book and just sit down and time and read. And that's more so me making an excuse for myself. But I like the Kindle. It's cool because, like, if you're reading at night, it's not that hard. Pick an idea that can scale. Oh, yeah, that's a good one. So, yeah. So this book is good so far. It's a good book. Kind of just talks about, like, what an entrepreneur is and, you know, how to actually get started and then, you know, scaling and then exit, right? So that's the goal of an entrepreneur, is to start a business, scale it to a, you know, a certain part where you're bringing in a lot of revenue, you know, profit and all that stuff, and then you exit, and you essentially exiting is either taking yourself out of the company so it runs by itself so you don't have much in it, or you exit by selling. And the goal for me is to sell JMC at the end of it all. Like I think I want to grow it to, I haven't figured out the numbers yet, but I want to grow it to a point where, you know, it's not where I'm limited, but more so just where, you know, I can exit in peace and just, you know, start another venture, but get a decent amount of money for the company to either, you know, put in real estate, start another company, invest in another company, and just start building like that. But patience is another thing that I wanted to talk about today, because I'm in that state right now. I'm in that state of being patient, and that is in multiple parts of my life. Whether, I think, you know, for me personally, I can break it down as like business wise, I'm in a state of patience for sure. In my love life, I'm definitely in a state of patience. I think, you know, those kind of tie together, like, yeah, business and personal right there when you look at it. But when you really break it down, oh my gosh, okay. I don't understand that. So I'm trying to connect to my camera via remote, and I was just doing it, and now it's not doing it. So I don't even know if I'm in frame. So sorry if I'm out of frame. Anyways, I'm not going to trip about it. Point is, patience itself is a very interesting thing, because I feel like a lot of people, we ask for patience. We ask for you know, to be patient. I don't really want to do this. I did not want to record today. Honestly, if I'm being completely transparent, I did not want to do this. It's episode 5, and I think I saw some stat or someone told me that like barely any podcasts make it to episode 5 or something like that, and I can see why, because it's very, very easy to just not do it. Like I said, I set up and I just started talking. Like there's no structure, kind of bouncing all over the place. It's just it's not that I know. Yeah, man. I don't know if you can tell, but going through it. It's the name of the game. It's the name of the game. So you're going to strike out a couple times. You know, it's not going to be the best. Feels like this every single day, man. Not every single day, but like I said, 80%. 80% of the times it feels like it, where it's like you're going, you're doing one thing after another. You take a break here, take a break there. And then, what else happened? And I think that's kind of like the point of this podcast is to be raw, to be straight up, to be, not put on a face. And I was putting on a face a little bit earlier, you know what I'm saying? Like, and my goal is to, again, be genuine and be real, because not every day is rainbows and unicorns, you know what I'm saying? Like, and these first couple episodes, I want, again, to be that real. I feel like some people are like, oh, well, you got to show up. Oh, well, I'm here. Showed up. I'm here. And that's the biggest thing, right? Just show up. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's all you got to do. That's all you can do. And the reason I haven't stopped, we're at 12 minutes now, or something like that. I think I restarted recording earlier. I might just post the full thing, so you can see that, like, people can see that, like, what happens in between. You know what I'm saying? When your brain starts playing tricks on you and stuff like that. So we're gonna go a little bit longer today. We're gonna go 15 minutes. So I got 3 more minutes to kind of keep talking. Oh, screw it. We might go 20. Yeah, I might go 20 today, just because now I'm kind of finding a stride. Yeah. Nah, I didn't want to do it today. I really, it's just one of those days, bro, where like, I took today off. I wanted to just rest. It's been 3 weeks where I've kind of been like going at it and just really hitting it hard on the work side of things. So my body has just been kind of like depleting in that department of just action and energy. My energy level is really, really low, but I've kept going, like running on empty. And I was having a conversation with my friend earlier. We were kind of talking about that, like when you get to that point of like you want to stop, you want to give up, you just put in a little bit more, put a little bit more extra effort, and just push your brain, push yourself to that point of breaking, and then try to go further, because it builds that muscle of, hey, it's uncomfortable right now, but we can keep going. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of like the state that I've been in, the season I've been in, of just like going hard and then trying to go even harder. And then like yesterday, I kind of felt it towards, I had a podcast yesterday. I had an early morning meeting at 8:30. Then I had a podcast, and it was a full day's work. So we left the house at 6:50. So from 6:50 all the way to about 6:30, I was working, doing stuff. But around like 3 o'clock, I took a nap. I was trying to take a nap in the car, my sister's car, in the parking lot of her job, because I was just so tired. I just finished the podcast, finished doing what I needed to do, and I was just dead tired. And I was just like, I'm just gonna hop in the back seat and take a nap. And when I was back there, and when I was taking a nap, like I fell asleep for like maybe 30 minutes, which was nice. But I woke up and I was sweaty because, like, the car, there's no AC, and it was like It was like a perfect like 56. Like it wasn't 56 degrees outside where it's like it was not hot, but it wasn't cold. It was that weird like muggy, and it had been raining too, so like the humidity was kind of up a little bit too. So weird muggy vibe. I was sweating in the car, and just like I just woke up and like realized where I was at. I was like, damn, like I'm in the back seat of my sister's car. My sister's working. I'm out here sleeping. Then that's when it kind of hit me of like how tired I was, and like finally 5 o'clock came around. My sister got off. She came in. We drove home. Like slept on the way home. Walked in. And literally just went straight to bed. Like I was tired. So all that to say, like it's been rough, bro. And being straight up about it, it helps because like I'm able to like recognize that I have been putting in work and doing different things, and I haven't just been lazy and like laying around and not doing anything. So it's a good exercise for me to kind of just prove it to myself that we are actually working and doing things, and there's a lot, but it's not as fun sometimes. And I think that's one of the big messages that I want to communicate and create an environment to talk about, where it's like it's okay for things not to be okay, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like I get tired of this like perfect facade that I want to put on, and I feel myself wanting to do that. And sometimes I just want to be like, no, bro, I'm not okay. Fucking all over the place right now, but I'm working on it. And there's a positivity side of it, obviously. It's like, I'm not okay, but, I'm taking care of it. Like, it's just saying you're not okay is not, like, the end of the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, it really isn't that bad. And, like, I post shit on my story. Like, I posted a lot of things yesterday on my story that I look back on. I was like, oh, wow, look, this looks really depressing. I'm like, oh, man, well, it is what it is. Some of it's really just for the fuck of it and because it's funny. And the other is like there's a little bit of truth behind it. Like that Spider-Man one that I posted yesterday, bro. Oh my gosh. Like, and I saw that scene on Instagram. I was like, that is funny because it's true. And then Thanksgiving's coming up, so there's a lot of those memes. I've been seeing memes of like when your family asks you like, "How's the girlfriend?" or "Do you have a girlfriend yet?" It's like, well, we're working on it. We don't know. We'll see. But it's funny. But anyways, like, who cares? At the end of the day, bro, like, who cares? Like, if, like, I always say this. I think I said this in one of the last podcasts. It's like, I'm giving you exactly who I am in this moment, Like, I'm not going to pretend and put on a face. I don't like putting on faces. I did that for a long time, all through high school, a little bit after high school, a little bit of 2022, I did that. And then it wasn't until about late 2023 was when shit kind of hit the fan. I was like, okay, who are you? And I found a piece of myself, throughout the shitty parts of my life. Getting single not for the first time, but like, being single for the first time in almost 2 years. The business was at a weird spot, then a kind of a breaking point with that. I was alone around that time. So this is July 2023. I was pretty lonely, like probably the loneliest I've ever been. None of my friends went around. They're still in school. My parents, they had gone to Puerto Rico. Me and my girlfriend had just broken up. My sister was not at the house she was living at her apartment at the time. So it was really lonely. And that might be a story for the next podcast. We'll see. But I might go. Like I'm tired of kind of putting limits on these because I want to keep talking. Because the reason I put limits on it is because I want people to not inconvenience them. But honestly, fuck it. So if you made it this far, welcome to the show. Because I think now we're finally hitting a stride. It was really lonely, and I was almost forced to find myself because I didn't want to escape. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was sad. There's a lot of, like I said, there was a lot of different factors going on, and I had to I had to do something. Like I didn't want to just stay stagnant. And I started going to the gym pretty heavily. I was tracking calories, tracking protein, carbs, all that stuff. I was getting real serious about it for like 2 weeks, and I noticed a strength increase in that, which was awesome. But being there in that moment of like, what the fuck is going on, bro, was so difficult because I seriously had no idea what to do other than work. First, like I'm gonna say that straight up. Like the only thing I had going for me at that time was the project I had in front of me with JMC, and it was miserable trying to sit down and do it because all I was thinking about was like, my ex, and then my parents being gone, and then my dog here that's starting to act weird. And I'm like, it's you and me, Mink. So those feelings of like uncertainty and like what do I do next, like those are like good signs because I think it's showing growth. And it means like you're on a path of growth and you're maturing and you're going to that's what I felt, at least, where I just had to do something, and I did something I've never really done before. And I went to Barnes and Noble. Okay, I've been to Barnes and Noble a couple times, but I mean, like, I went to Barnes and Noble and I stayed there for like 8 hours, like in the cafe, and like I found a book, read a book, and it was about, like I said, so that time I was dealing with a breakup, so I read a book. It's called The Three Loves, and basically what it talked about is like the three loves that you encounter in life, or the karmic lover, I think was the name of it. So the karmic lover, the three loves that you encounter in life, or something like that. It's a pretty good book. So I read the book, and there was a bunch of questions in the book were asking me, and I started, writing down questions, kind of talking about it with myself in the journal, and then like it kind of hit me where I was like, oh shit, like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? Like I kind of became more aware. I was like, oh shit, like I see myself in that sense. So it kind of helped me figure things out about myself, that I still had a lot of things that I had not taken care, like old things from past relationships, whether it was with a girlfriend in high school, friendships, things that had gone down with my parents, my brother, my sister, just different. I'm not gonna call them traumas because that the word is too heavy for what was going on in my head, but just past things that just I hadn't dealt with, just different situations and different like feelings that I kind of just tucked away somewhere. And that book kind of helped me realize that like sometimes that shit starts to leak when you're in with a relationship with another person, right? It kind of comes out of you, and like perhaps it's the result of fights or disagreements or whatever the fuck, right? But point is, relationships aside, because I don't even want to talk about that. I just want to talk about the interpersonal dialogue. It's like, shit, like I have stuff that I haven't dealt with. Now, dealing with it is another thing. It's like, well, how do you deal with a situation that's either out of your control or, out, like so far out, like, I don't know, like, I think about that. I think it's just coming to terms with it, whether it's a situation that already happened or is happening or quote hasn't happened yet. It's like, you just got to come to terms with what is, what is the, what is face value, at what face value it is, right? If someone's not talking to you right now, okay, it is what it is. There's nothing more to that. If, a certain life plan hasn't happened yet, cool. It is what it is. It's where it's at right now. Like, it's coming to terms, I think, with the situation in front of you and being okay with it, first and foremost. Now, I think you can break it down even further and say, well, is this a situation I can control, or is this a situation I can't control? And then there's like kind of like that weird little gray area where it's like, well, I kind of can control it, but I kind of can't. Like, it's that gray area. Like, should I text her? Should I not text her? Should I leave a comment? Should I post it on my story? I don't know. But you can pretty much, distinct the two between should I or shouldn't I? Is that a word? Shouldn't I? I don't know. But point is, it's like coming to terms with it, realizing what it is, and then addressing it. And then with like past things that have gone down, again, it's the same thing as coming to terms with it. Like, hey, this breakup happened? Boom. Cool. They moved on? Cool. I moved on too? Cool. They don't want to be my friend anymore. Cool. It is what it is. And it's difficult to do that. It's difficult to come to terms with it. Sometimes it sucks. Sometimes it's not a really good feeling to come to terms with something because you're just like, damn, this kind of sucks. But anyways, that leads me to my next point. It's like, so after that, that was end of summer 23. And, fall came around, and there were so many things happening throughout the fall of 23. I can't even keep up. And then the new year came, and it was 2024. And I was like, 2024 is going to be the year that I can look back on and say, you know what, I did something. And those first couple months of 2024 were like, holy shit, because you're just like, damn, bruh, I'm still doing the same thing. It's like you're doing the same thing, quote unquote. And for me, it was the business and trying to keep that moving. And it's just the constant just showing up every day. All these different challenges to overcome, this, that, and the third. And then finally, it's like, it's July, and we're like, me and my sister are like, oh, we're moving. And then August comes around, and I'm like, damn, like, okay, we're actually moving. And I moved down here with fucking negative $14 in my account. And it's like, I get here and I'm just like, okay, well, I better make this fucking thing work. And whatever. Now it's November, almost December now, and it's just like, oh my gosh, like I'm still doing the same thing, bro. And it's not that you're doing the same thing; it's like you're still working towards the same goal. And then you have to like realize that like it's not the same goal per se, but you're still working in that same environment of like the overall general idea, right? So like JMC is still the overall general. Now I've been in it for almost 2.5 years. Like it's crazy, bro. So finally, like you realize, oh, you're putting in all this work. Like I feel like this is like for anyone that's like in college or in a job or whatever it may look like in your life, but you're constantly doing something and you're in that same area, but you have to like kind of microscope in and go, okay, well, have I moved? Like, am I moving? Am I doing different things? And that's like, if the answer is yes, then good, like awesome, like that's a good thing. And I struggle with that. And I think I was talking about this on the other pod where I was like, my sister kind of just says like, you have to give yourself some grace because like if you don't, then you're gonna freaking go crazy. So the patience aspect of this thing kind of comes back full circle now, where it's like, hey. Sometimes, yeah, you got to wait. You got to wait for things, and you got to find things to fill up your time throughout that. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you really give it your all, and you put a lot of time, attention into a situation, and you get to this ceiling of it, now the ball is in their court. What we were talking about, my friend and I were like, hey, now you've shown your cards, right? Clearly, now it's time for them to make a move, and I think that's where I'm at. I think I'm at the point where I've kind of put myself out there of just like, hey, I've been working. Boom. Here's what I've been working on. Here's my offer to you. Take it. And that's not just business-wise, bro. That's personally with friends, with future relationships. That's just what it is, where it's like I'm the type of person to just be like, you know what? Here. Like I'm not going to front with you, bro. I'm going to tell you exactly how it is and where I'm at. Fuck this. I'm going to hide behind this freaking facade and lead you on. Like, no, like, you have to try and be as straight up as possible. And I'm still working on that. Because sometimes it's easy to put on the, we'll see face. Like, fuck that shit. No, I'm really on that, this is where we're at. So it took about 28 minutes to come out, but there we go. So I'm getting better. Episode 5, congratulations to me, I guess, for showing up. Like I said, I didn't want to do this today. So to wrap up the pod, I hope that this shows that even if you show up, it can turn into something good. Because I feel like I got a lot of stuff off of my chest here. And so the goal is to keep this series going. We're still bouncing around different types of topics and stuff like that. Eventually, like I said, I'll find more of a better structure here, but literally the goal is to just keep pumping out episodes. I like doing one a day and pumping it out and getting things out, so, yeah, we're going to go ahead and call it there. I just hope everyone has a great evening, great morning, great day, whatever, time you're watching this, and We'll catch you on the flippity flip.